Look at the people around you right now. You assume each one of them has a mind, just like yours, full of thoughts, feelings, and an inner world. But here's the question you genuinely cannot answer. How do you actually know that any of them are conscious at all? You have never once been inside another person's head. You only ever have your own experience, nothing else, ever. So what if you are the only real mind, and everyone else is just part of the show? It sounds insane, but try to disprove it, and you'll discover something disturbing. You can't. And the deeper you follow that thought, the stranger it gets. This idea has a name: solipsism. It's the belief that the only thing you can be truly certain exists is your own mind. Everything else, the world, the stars, every other person, is in the end just an assumption. It is one of the oldest and most quietly disturbing ideas in all of philosophy, and it begins with one rock-solid fact. The only thing you can be absolutely sure of is that you, right now, are experiencing something. You can doubt the world outside. You can doubt your own eyes and ears, but you cannot doubt that there is a you, doing the doubting. This was the one solid rock the philosopher Descartes stood on. I think, therefore I am. To test how far doubt could go, he imagined an evil demon, a being powerful enough to fake the entire world, every sight and sound, just to deceive him. And he realized that even then, one thing survived. The fact that he was being deceived meant there was still a he. But notice exactly what that certainty does and does not include. It proves that your mind exists. It does not prove that anyone else's does. You can be certain of your own inner world, but every other mind you simply assume into existence. Think about what actually happens when you look at another person. You see a body, a face, expressions, behavior, words, but you never, ever see their experience. You see them smile and you assume there is joy behind it, but you are only ever inferring, guessing, from the outside at an inside you can never reach. Philosophers call this the problem of other minds. And after thousands of years, it still have no clean solution. Our best argument is almost embarrassingly simple. They look like me, they act like me, I have an inner world, so they probably do too. It's a reasonable guess, but it is only ever a guess. To make this even sharper, philosophers imagine something genuinely chilling. Picture a person who acts completely, perfectly normal. They talk, they laugh, they cry, they flinch when hurt, everything. But inside, there is nothing at all. No experience, no feeling, no inner light. The lights are off. Nobody is home. Philosophers call this a philosophical zombie. And here is the part that should keep you up at night. From the outside, a zombie and a truly conscious person would look absolutely identical. There is no test, no brain scan, no clever question. Nothing you could ever do could tell them apart from where you stand. Because consciousness, the raw feeling of being you, doesn't show up on any instrument. This is what philosophers call the hard problem of consciousness. We can map every neuron and still not explain why any of it feels like anything at all. So how do you know everyone around you isn't a zombie? Honestly, you don't. You just choose to believe they aren't. And there are even darker versions of this idea. What if the entire world is being fed to you? What if your brain sits alone in a jar and every sight, sound, and touch is just a signal piped in? From the inside, a perfect illusion would feel exactly like reality. You could tap the walls of your whole life and never find the edge. Every argument you make against it, the illusion could simply be making you think. Even your certainty could be just another part of the script. And you already have proof every single night that your mind can build a whole convincing world from nothing.
In a dream, you fully believe in people who don't exist. You feel their words, their faces, their reality, until you wake and they vanish. If your brain can do that for 8 hours a night, how sure are you about the waking world? Some thinkers take this even further, into the idea that our whole reality could be a simulation.
A universe of such perfect detail that no one inside could ever tell. And once again, you hit the same wall. From the inside, you simply cannot check. Every road of doubt leads back to the same lonely island, your own mind, and nothing it can fully verify beyond it. This is what makes solipsism so maddening. It cannot be proven, but it also cannot be disproven. Any evidence you point to, other people, the world, science itself, could all be part of your own mind. It's a perfectly sealed box, logically airtight, and crucially, completely impossible to actually live inside. The philosopher Wittgenstein had a way of showing why. Imagine everyone has a small box, and inside is something they call a beetle. No one can ever look inside anyone else's box. You only know your own. Maybe every box holds something different. Maybe some are empty. But the word beetle still works perfectly fine for everyone because we share the word, not the contents. Our whole shared world might be like that, built on words across gaps we can never actually cross. Because here's the thing. Even the philosophers who study solipsism don't actually believe it. The moment you step outside, you treat every person as fully, completely real, with hopes and fears and pain exactly as real as your own. And maybe that choice, the decision to believe in other minds, is the most human thing we ever do. Logic can't quite get you across the gap, so we leap anyway. We can't prove you are real, we believe it deeply regardless. And that leap of faith is the quiet foundation of love, kindness, and every connection you've ever had. So no, you almost certainly are not the only mind in the universe, but you can never be completely, perfectly certain. And strangely, that very uncertainty makes the choice to believe in others mean more, not less. Every face you trust is a small act of faith, reaching across a gap that can never be fully closed. You will never see inside anyone else. You reach across the dark anyway. And maybe in the end, that reaching is the whole point of being alive.